So, welcome to the unit, to my gorgeous people. Thank you so much for coming and making this part of your day, your week. So, unfortunately, our dear friend Keo will not be joining us today because of, this is super duper early for him. And bless his heart, we'll start there. Well, first of all, with gratitude, let's start with our gratitude round. First of all, I'm super grateful for you guys. I had a bit of a crazy day today. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but I woke up with just a ton of anxiety in my gut and my chest. And yesterday did not end the way I expected it, dealing with major chaos and drama on the whole front. Nothing to do with me, but to do with my brother and his son. And a big court date today. And my brother's also bipolar, and he's in a manic episode right now. And I had to go down to the police. And it was just really stressful and just heavy. And I had blocked out yesterday afternoon and evening to prepare for today because I had a jam-packed morning. And that plan just went out the window. Just to be completely honest with you guys, it did not happen. Did not happen the way I planned it. And I woke up this morning with about another hour and a half of sleep debt. I just didn't get enough sleep, and just feeling behind the eight ball. Feeling really like, you can't empty cup. I'm the first to say, just a thumbs up. Somebody's able to admit people and make them contributors. You got that right. Perfect. Yeah. Welcome, Alex. So yeah, to say that I got up, well, I didn't get up on the wrong side of bed, because I didn't get out of bed until I had done some breath work and was able to get myself out of that anxious state. But then I was still just kind of flat, and it was just like, there's no freaking way in 1 hour I'm going to do what I was supposed to do yesterday in 4 hours. It's just not going to happen. And on top of that, I just had no energy. Flat. Like I have about 4 hours of sleep debt from the weekend. I've got a total of about 8 hours or 9 hours of sleep debt in the last 4 or 5 days. And so I had to readjust and recalibrate. And I decided to go for a run. Instead of fucking doing anything, I decided to go for a run to get my energy up. And I came back from my run. Sorry, it makes me emotional. I came back from my run to a video from MC. And it just made me feel so fucking loved. So grateful for you guys. So that's what I'm grateful for. Sorry about that. Just genuinely so bloody grateful for you guys.
We love you, Jay. That's awesome. I'm really happy that you're here. Happy you still showed up. I mean, sometimes I don't know if you give yourself enough credit, because you're doing a lot, especially behind the scenes for Wake Up right now. Like, you're just go, go, go. So I was like, yeah, I think where you're at energy wise is like really normal and to be expected. So I'm just like, yeah, that's what the community is here for, right? Everybody's got each other's back. So on that note, I'm sharing my gratitude piece next, y'all. I'm really excited. I'm really happy. I feel really good. So today is my mom's 13th year memorial date since I've lost her to suicide. And you know what? I was getting ready today and getting ready for the wake up call and all of that. And I was like, I know my mom would be like so proud of me of like where I am and what I'm doing. And I was like, that just brings me so much gratitude, because I know out of the 13 years on this day for the past 13 years has not been this amazing. I haven't been this blessed and this happy and this grateful in my life. So I think to sit at the table with just such great leaders, and to be in such a positive community brings me a lot of gratitude, because I'm happy about where I am on this day at this time in my life. So, it gave me a lot of gratitude. Like I was like, I'm really happy. So that's for me. I just feel like I've had a lot of growth, and it's not like a sad day at all. It's just a beautiful day to honor and remember and, look at my own progress and see where I'm at. So I'm like, yeah, it's really cool. I'm really proud of myself, and that gives me a lot of gratitude. So yeah, who's next? Somebody else is sharing a gratitude now.
Monica, before you go on, I just have to say I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry for your loss. I lost my mom 15 years 15 years ago, and it still hurts. So to lose a mom to suicide, you can't just brush by that. And I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm even more grateful for you now. Thank you. And then if you could nominate the next person, that would be great.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm nominating Martin. You're up.
I knew you were going to say that. I mean, I'll keep mine. I'll keep mine brief. But MC, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I've experienced the same when I was a kid. So same day every year. Totally get it. And Jay, I don't know if Jay's gone, but I just wanted to. I've known Jay for, gosh, 12 or 13 years now, I think, and it's actually probably better if he. There are times in the past of where if he had experienced a day or the last 24 hours like he has done by the sounds of it, he wouldn't be here right now. Absolutely wouldn't. Just straight away, no, not doing this. Martin, can you take it? Stu, Martin, can you take over? I can't do it. Whoever, Justin, whoever else. So the mere fact that Jay is here right now, for me, I'm grateful for that. Absolutely, first and foremost, really, really grateful for that. But mine's really, really simple, and I like to find gratitude in the simple things now. I've got my daughter with me. She's a teenager. It was all a very last minute thing this past week for Easter half term. So she's nearly 15, and I picked her up on Saturday, and we have done nothing since I picked her up on Saturday other than watch box sets, eat popcorn, eat sweets. I just got her a Domino's. We have play fighted. We have done TikToks. We have taken a mick out of each other. We have just had fun. And every now and then we all need that. For me, anyway, I'm speaking on behalf of everyone, but for myself, I absolutely need that. And I was totally ready for some airing time. So there's a lot more I'm grateful for, but that's maybe for another day. But for today, here, right now, with you guys, I'm grateful that she's here. And I'll be taking her back at the weekend, heart full and grateful for what would have been an awesome week. So thanks, you guys. Oh, I'll nominate. I have to go Jeremy. Hey.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm definitely grateful for this group. Anybody in here that's kind of seen me on the last 90-day journey, you know, I quit my corporate job last year, or got fired last year, and took that as an opportunity to kind of boost ourselves forward and do what we wanted to do. Definitely has its share of ups and downs. I'm on a roller coaster ride right now, and but my phone's going off too. But overall, I'm able to stay home with my family, and that was the whole point. We downsized, able to help Polly with her business, and I'm actually making some macaroni for the little girl right now. So I'm grateful to be able to do that, spend time with my family, and I know, you know, brighter days in the future, and the tools that are given in this group just help with that. So let's see here. Vina, you're up.
Yeah. For me, it's just being grateful for just being here with the group. And Jeremiah just said, like, you've left your corporate job. I haven't. I'm just holding on to it. Like, any minute, do I want to leave it, or do I want the steady income to keep coming? The most important thing that I feel being with this group is the driven people who are different than what I deal with every day, because that's a run on the mill. Everyone's doing the same thing. We have the same profiles, the same jobs, the same attitudes, the same, you know, climbing up the ladder, the same fights, the same achievements. So what I'm looking over here is a breath of fresh air. I look forward to seeing this group. I look forward to just looking at the group and what you'll post over there. It means a lot to me. And just grateful being here and seeing your drive and spirit. That's all. Has Julie finished? Let me nominate Julie. Okay.
Hi. I'm in a good place. So I feel that because I've listened to my intuition, it all started when I relocated and moved back from Cornwall back to the Lake District. Two very nice areas, but for me, energetically, they meant very different things. I didn't want to come back, but I came back a bit kicking and screaming, really. But I knew I had to. And because I listened, everything's just opened up. so I'm more in alignment than I've probably ever been. And this is, and maybe I've surrendered a bit. Maybe I kind of had a word and said, well, look, if I'm gonna be there, make it right. Everything, make it right, you know. And it's strange because in the last 2-3 days, a couple of my more spiritual friends have reached out, and they're not in a good place at the moment. Because the thing is, with spiritual work, you're always shedding, you know, as we know. There's always another layer and another layer and another layer. And they're going through that process. And I seem to be very grounded. I seem to be in a good energetic space to help them. So yeah, all is well. All is good in my world, and long may it continue. Colleen.
Thank you. I was actually saying I'm trying to find a quiet place, but obviously I was being very quiet. There's so much that I'm grateful for. The first thing that was coming to my mind was being here, being surrounded by amazing community of like-minded people, and having listened to all of you. I'm actually, what I'm specifically grateful for is a combination of the same things that you're all saying: family, the ones that we have now, and those that we've lost. I lost my dad in 2018. It was a very tragic ending, and it gave me a lot of lessons. And his ambition that he had in his life is something that lives on in me. His articulation, Jay, lives on in me, you know, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for my children that I have here now that give me lessons on an everyday basis of patience, multitasking, being able to grow in myself. And then I'm grateful, like Jules, you've said, for intuition. If I hadn't have made the choice at Christmas to stop what I was doing that I wasn't in alignment with, I wasn't feeling fulfilled with, and listen to my intuition and develop it, I wouldn't have ended up here now with all of you, with this bigger purpose that is bigger than me. It's bigger than us, you know. So I'm grateful for all of you and all of that.
So let's just move now. Well, first of all, thank you, each and every one of you, for, as we know, vibrationally, gratitude is 5 to 600. So it's a beautiful way to get us into a nice, beautiful vibration state. So with that, Julie Hamilton, I would love to pass it to you for a drop-in.
Okay, so what I'd like to do today is talk about affirmations and how to supercharge them, and how they have different frequencies, and aligning your energy centers within, known as chakras, but a lot of people see that as woo-woo. But these are energy centers that really supercharge them. So this is going to be a repeat after me, obviously with your mics on mute. So what I want you to do is close your eyes and think about the base of your spine, on your tailbone, the root, and repeat: I am healthy. I am wealthy. I am abundant. I am loved. And then we're moving up to the sacral, which is an inch down from your belly button. I feel healthy. I feel wealthy. I feel abundant. I feel loved. Then we're going to your solar plexus, your tummy area. I attract vibrant wealth, vibrant health. I attract wealth. I attract abundance. I attract love. Then we move up to your heart. I love vibrant health. I love wealth. I love abundance. I love love. And then we move to your throat. I speak vibrant health into existence. I speak wealth into existence. I speak abundance into existence. I speak love into existence. And then we do your third eye, which is in between your eyebrows. I see vibrant health. I see wealth. I see abundance. I see love. I see them all around me. And then the crown is on top of your head. I understand that vibrant health, wealth, and abundance and love comes in all forms. It is all around me at all times for me to access. I receive with gratitude. All is well.
And I've never done that sort of a practice. I really like it. It's an embodied affirmation connected to the different energy centers. Super powerful. So thank you, Jules, for getting us to drop in. So normally I would, at this point, play the 15-minute intro video with the topic of the week. Don't have one this week. And on that note, Martin, what you said there was 100% true. The old Jay would have showed up or would not have showed up, or he would have showed up, but 3 scotches in. I would get back some scotches and powered through it, or just cancel it. The new Jay doesn't do that. I'm really proud of him. So thank you, Martin, for that. Thanks, Jules, for leading us through that. I want to recognize the unit, you guys here who are showing up in the unit, in no particular order. Ina, it's awesome to see you doing the video journey, and I'm excited to see your contribution as we build out the sales unit, because that will be a very integral part of the unit once we're ready. We're ready for folks from the outside. On that note, Scott, who's listening as well on the back end, Scott, good on you. Wake Up is committed to helping Scott get that new wheelchair. So what Wake Up is willing to do is to match the first 500 pounds of donations to get us to that 1,000 pounds, so that we can get Scott into, the month is already half over. So Scott, reach out to me so I can make sure that we get you into that new wheelchair so you can train properly for your 100 miles in May. Carlene, for your daily energy that you bring and your way with words. Carlene's biggest gift is to articulate the bridge between the science and the spirituality. And it's beautiful to observe and beautiful to witness. There's some videos that she shared this morning in the family and also in the unit chat. And to her, she says, bless her heart, she's like, this might be obvious to everyone, but I'm just going to say it anyway. And you could tell she was so excited to share it. It's not obvious to everyone. I mean, that's your gift. And you know it's your gift because it's obvious to you. That's the way it is for all of us, though. Our gift sometimes isn't apparent to us. So I wanted to acknowledge that and recognize that. So what we're going to do now is, so last week we did an introduction to breathwork. And it's something that you're going to hear me talking about. Breathwork is one of the 4 core modalities, alongside the emotion code, alongside the alignment code. Breathwork is one of the core 4, and there's a 4th one as well that we'll be talking about in due time. But the alignment code, in terms of the book, it's a modality that only works in conjunction with the other modalities. So I want to also recognize Christoph for doing these sessions with the Wake Up unit individuals. And if you haven't already done your session with them, the first one is on me. And that's just a token of appreciation and gratitude for your contribution to the company, to the brand. And I just want to speak for just a second about that, because like Carlene mentioned how like everything is energy, right? And us together as a group, collectively, we have an energy signature or blueprint. So it just makes perfect sense that we all do this work together so that we can gel together, because collectively our energy signature will determine then the energy signature of the brand, which will then in return determine who we attract into our fold. I want to recognize Jeremy and Holly. Holly, all the work she's doing behind the scenes to help us get ready for new customers vis-a-vis Go High Level or GHL, the marketing funnel. And I'll also just slide in there a little side note. If anyone does have access to the directory, if you're not part of the WakeUp unit, the internal team, and you'd like to see the directory, which is basically open kimono, open source, how we are building the WakeUp Co. Over the next week, I'll be publishing and sharing in the directory our roadmap to 100 million. I had a first meeting yesterday with our future potential tech team based in Ontario, Canada. They reached out to me through social media. They saw what we're doing. They love it. They reached out to me, and we had our first meeting yesterday, and they're going to help us from a tech standpoint. They're going to be taking over the development of the WakeUp app that has been in development since last summer. Jason Zerbin has taken on a different role with a new gig, so he's no longer part of this group. He's no longer working on the WakeUp app. So I met with these incredible developers who are going to help us on the technology side. And I'll share just a tiny little snippet of the vision of the WakeUp Co here in just a minute. But I just want to go around and just acknowledge every single one of you for your contributions. And if I miss someone, I do apologize. I think I got everyone that is, for the most part, actively engaged in the WakeUp community. So thank you all for your service. I really, really appreciate it. Okay. Now, back to last week, the circadian rhythm. So I wanted to come back, and I actually shot a bunch of videos. I just didn't have the time to piece them together. So when I release the recording of today's workshop, there will be a beautiful part 2 of the circadian rhythm training. So I won't use the time of the clock now to go into the circadian rhythm, but when I release the recording of this live, it will have that in there. So it'll dovetail, it'll pick up where we left off last week with the circadian rhythm. But I do want to just add in, the big paradigm shift for me was when I stopped thinking about my life as a 24-hour clock with the chronological hours and days on a calendar. Now, even though if I look at my clock or I look at my calendar, calendar is a grid, X number of days, X number of weeks, X number of years, and then I'm dead. I look at my clock, it's like the thing goes around twice, and then the next day is here, and then it goes around twice, the next day is here. Instead of thinking about our life through a chronological lens, looking at it through the only lens that there actually really is, and that is the lens of our breath. Instead of thinking in seconds and minutes, think about breaths. How many breaths do I have? How many breaths do I have this week? How many breaths do I have left in my life? See, breath is in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, is the number one need. You can go an hour or 10 hours without drinking water. You know, the physiological needs, the homeostasis needs in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that first layer, breathing is the most primal need, guys. You have to breathe. If I challenged you, and we're going to do breath work here together, to hold it for a minute or two, that's hard to do if you didn't catch your breath. So breathing is what ultimately controls our nervous system and our emotional state, whether we think it does or not. So if breath is an afterthought, our breath will match, whether it's shallow from our chest or deep sighs, our breath will match our emotional state, whether we're in the parasympathetic or the sympathetic nervous system. Depending on which is activated, our breath will follow. But when we live more intentionally and more present and more grounded, we actually control our breathing and thereby control our emotional state. But it's not like a switch that you can flip and then it's instantaneous. It's not like a pill that you can get. Years when I was on antidepressants and on stimulants, I would just take I was feeling anxious, I would pop a Xanax. Well, that's what the doctor said to do, and the anxiety would just go away. Oh, you have generalized anxiety? You should be on an SSRI. It'll take about 6 weeks to come in. You'll probably have some suicidal thoughts before it actually kicks in, but then that will just take care of all your anxiety. And for 15 effing years, I didn't have any anxiety, but I also never felt any emotions above 200 because they didn't tell you that all your emotions or anything vibrationally above 200 or below 150, you just live in this little narrow band of zombie land for 15 freaking years. When I went off of those antidepressants 6 years ago, suddenly I was faced with this barrage of daily emotions. I now have to learn how to regulate my nervous system. And breath work is how I did it. So it's an incredibly important tool, but it's more than a tool. It will become a part of your consciousness, that in every moment you are aware of your breath. So there's a word I want to introduce to the vernacular here called interoception. So interoception is everything you feel from your skin below or beneath, from beneath your skin. So anything internal, interoception. So sit right now, close your eyes. What do you feel? You might feel, I feel, for example, a cool breeze on my right elbow because somebody opened the door. I can feel my feet in my boots. I feel my belly pressing against my belt. I can feel my heart just calm and open. What do you feel in your body? More grounded and present you become, and more in tune with your body. Your body is always communicating with you. It's always speaking to you. It might be your intuition, it might be your higher self. What are you feeling in your body? So now I want you to keep your eyes closed and just inhale through your nose, fill up your belly first, and then take a second inhale. You just top it up and make sure your chest is full. And we're going to do a physiological sigh. So we'll do a long inhale followed by a short inhale, all the way full, hold it, and then we'll do a long exhale. So something like this. One more time. All the way in through your nose. One more sip. Hold. Clench a little bit, maybe stretch, and then let it out with a sigh. We'll do it one more time. Move your neck around, move your shoulders around, keep your eyes closed. In. One more sip. Another sip. Clench. Let it out with a sigh. So that takes about 30 seconds. So the physiological sigh, you can Google it. I learned about it through Andrew Huberman, where I learned about most of my biohacking things. So what that did is that lowered the blood pressure and it activated the parasympathetic nervous system. So animals, dogs, for example, when they feel stressed, they shake it off. Well, throughout the day, as human beings, we accumulate this stress, and we're stoic, and we carry it around with us. And it just accumulates and accumulates and accumulates. But if we could get in the habit of being more present and doing more of those types of breaths, instead of letting it accumulate all day, it's like we're processing that stress and that energy throughout the day. Now, that's going to require you to adjust your expectations, like it did for me, for example, today. I had to adjust my expectations, and it was tough for my ego to say, you know what, last week I promised every week on Wake Up Wednesday, I'm going to have this brilliant 15-minute open, which is going to provide a lecture, and I don't have it. Fell on my face the first weekend. It was hard for my ego to swallow. And the old Jay would have had a glass of scotch. Martin's not lying. There was a 10-year period where I did not host a single webinar or workshop without at least one glass of scotch. I wasn't able to. It was the only way I was able to calm my nervous system. So I used tools like alcohol. Well, now I use tools like breath work, but then it's like, why would I self-abandon? Why would I self-abandon and put alcohol into my system just so I can meet some impossible expectation that no one else has except me? Why? Why? Well, Jason doesn't do that anymore. Why? Because Jason loves that little boy inside who doesn't need to be abandoned. who doesn't need to be yelled at, who doesn't need to be chastised for not meeting some impossible expectation that no one outside of his own lower self has of him anyway. So interoception is what you feel in your body from the skin and beneath. Exteroception. So actually, I'll stand corrected. That cold breeze that I felt on my arm, that was exteroception. That's the sensation on the outside of the body. What we're going to do right now is I'm going to introduce you to one of my favorite modalities, and we're going to do it together only because I need it. I'm going to do a 10-minute NSDR. So what is NSDR? NSDR stands for non-sleep deep rest. Eventually this will be, I'll share this in the group. So NSDR is what I do on days like today. I will do a 10-minute or a 20-minute. Instead of a breath work, I need rest. And this can actually compensate for lack of sleep. So non-sleep deep rest is basically where we'll listen to Andrew Huberman, who has an incredibly sexy voice, and he will guide us through a deep relaxation for 10 minutes, which is equivalent to about an hour nap. Okay, so let's just crack on. We'll just do it.
Welcome to this 10-minute non-sleep deep rest protocol. Non-sleep deep rest is a powerful tool that can allow you to control the relaxation
I'd like
state
all of
of
us
your nervous
to
system
follow along
and
with
your
this
overall state of mind.
and recharge for 10
It
minutes.
can restore mental and physical vigor, and it can be done any time of day or night. It's very simple to do. You'll want to do this protocol seated or lying down. So if you're not already seated or lying down, please do so now. You'll also want to close your eyes. So if your eyes aren't already closed, please close them now. Throughout this protocol, you'll want to breathe normally, unless instructed to do otherwise. One pattern of breathing you'll be asked to do is to inhale deeply, ideally through your nose. But if you can't do it through your nose, inhale through your mouth. Try that now. Inhale deeply through your nose, and then exhale all of your air through your mouth. Let's do that again. Inhale deeply through your nose, and then exhale completely through your mouth. And as you exhale, exhale through thinly pursed lips, as if through a small straw. Let's repeat that 2 more times. Inhale deeply through your nose, and then exhale completely through thinly pursed lips. One more time. Inhale deeply through your nose, and then exhale completely through your mouth through thinly pursed lips. Breathing in that way, that is, inhaling deeply through your nose, and then exhaling completely through the mouth through thinly pursed lips, is known to slow your heart rate down and relax your nervous system. Feel free now to simply breathe normally. Now, in your mind's eye, imagine yourself standing over yourself, looking at your body, which is seated or lying down, and imagine holding a flashlight or a spotlight and directing it at your feet. Focus your attention on whatever it is that your feet happen to be in contact with. It could be socks, sandals, shoes, or merely the air. It doesn't matter. Focus your attention specifically on the bottoms of your feet and try to perceive whatever it is they are sensing. They could be tingling. They could even be numb. It doesn't matter. Now imagine expanding that spotlight to include the tops of your feet, your shins, your calves. Expanding that spotlight further to include your thighs, your hamstrings, and up to your waist. Now, with your entire lower body illuminated inside the beam of light from that spotlight, inhale deeply through your nose or through your mouth. And then exhale completely through thinly pursed lips until your lungs are empty. Repeat that twice more. And each time as you exhale, imagine your lower body sinking down about a centimeter into whatever surface you happen to be in contact with now. Now move the spotlight to your abdomen and focus your attention on whatever it is your abdomen is sensing. As you inhale, your stomach should move out slightly, and as you exhale, it should sink down. Expand the spotlight to include your upper abdomen, your chest, your neck. And now, in your mind's eye, imagine that spotlight is expanding to include your arms as well. Continue to breathe normally. Now focus your perception on whatever surface your back happens to be in contact with. A shirt, a chair, a sofa. Whatever surface it happens to be contacting, focus on that contact now. Simply bring your attention and your perception to those points of contact. And as you do so, inhale deeply again through your nose or through your mouth. And then as you exhale, imagine your back and your upper body sinking about a centimeter into whatever surface they happen to be in contact with. Now move the spotlight to include your face, the top of your head, and the back of your head. And as you continue to breathe normally, focus your perception on relaxing the muscles of your face. And as you continue to breathe normally, see if you can extend the duration of your exhales ever so slightly. And now, in your mind's eye, expand the spotlight downward to include your neck, your chest, your arms, your abdomen, your waist, your legs, and down to your feet. Imagine yourself looking down at your own body, illuminated inside of the spotlight. And in your mind's eye, deliberately dim that spotlight. Make the illumination less intense. Inhale deeply again through your nose or through your mouth. And then exhale completely through thinly pursed lips. And as you do so, imagine your entire body sinking into the surface it's in contact with. Now, while continuing to breathe normally, move your toes ever so slightly. In doing so, you'll notice that you are in control of your nervous system, meaning you direct your perceptions and your actions. Move your ankles and bend your knees just the slightest bit. You can move your upper body from side to side, your head from side to side, or even nod just slightly. Now move your hands. Lift your arms just a tiny bit, then set them down again. And now, whenever you are ready, slowly open your eyes. And as you do so, you'll notice that normally, your nervous system is bombarded with sensory information, mostly visual information, which you have eliminated during this non-sleep deep rest protocol. As you have now experienced, you are in control of your perceptions. Controlling your perceptions is simply directing your attention to specific sensations, and you control which sensations you perceive by directing your attentional spotlight to whatever part or parts of your body that you choose. Non-sleep deep rest protocols, such as this one, can help you restore your sense of mental and physical vigor, can partially offset the effects of not getting enough sleep, and can also help you get better at falling and staying asleep. It can be done any time of day or night when you feel you need a mental and/or physical reset.
10 minutes. I just bought myself an hour nap. We all just did. How do you guys feel? Put it in the chat. How do you feel? Ready for sleep? When I am really activated and it's late and I'm not tired, I'll do that. And there's a 20-minute version as well. Just Google it on YouTube. And if you're not careful, you will fall asleep if you're tired. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Huberman, Andrew does this himself every day instead of a nap. So when you guys, when I release the recording of today's call with the structured part of the training, I'll just give you a little snapshot of what I was doing, what I recorded. So I decided to go on this run instead of shooting the video. And about a kilometer into my run, I just, like popcorn, the idea started coming into my brain. So I started recording. So instead of recording it in my studio, I recorded it on my phone. Now we just have to stitch it all together. But I want to give you the thumbnail of it, the snapshot of it. It's about energy. Everything is about energy. How do you manage your energy throughout the day? And if you think of the hierarchy of needs, and then you think about the maps of consciousness. By the way, if you haven't read David Hawkins' Maps of Consciousness, highly recommend it. In fact, forgot this week to announce the book of the week. So let's just say that's the book of the week if you haven't already read it. So Maps of Consciousness is where everything is measured from a scale of 0 to 1,000. So death is 0. Shame, guilt, fear are like 20, 30, 50. Anger is 100. And courage is 200. Now, courage is an important level because everything done with courage and above 200 is life-sustaining. Anything below 200 is life-destructive, self-destructive, okay? So that's why holding anger, holding shame, holding guilt is so destructive for you, not for the other person that you're angry with, but for you. So 200, I will hold this up here. I'll share this with you guys in the group so you can kind of see the different emotions and where they map. Gratitude, the reason we started with gratitude is because it is 600, very, very high. Love is 500. Gratitude is above love. Now check this out. I was just chatting with Chat GPT about this. And I'll just read it to you. In David R. Hawkins' Maps of Consciousness, authenticity, I asked it, where does authenticity fit in as a vibration? And it turns out that it's a spectrum. Authenticity isn't assigned a specific numeric value, but it's most closely associated with consciousness levels above 200, where personal power, integrity, and alignment with truth begin to emerge. Here's the breakdown. Below 200, the self operates from fear, guilt, shame, and ego defenses. Authenticity is rare here because the identity is often masked. reactive, or survival based. So for 15 years, at least a decade anyway, I was masking those emotions, the depression, the fear, the anger, the self-loathing, the shame. I was masking it with antidepressants and masking it with alcohol. 200 to 250 is courage. Courage. 250 is neutrality. So it's like, I can go this way or that way. That's 250. This is where authenticity begins. Courage is the threshold of integrity. The first level of where someone is honest with themselves and others and takes responsibility. So you can see why this is the beginning. In the satir change model, down the integration phase begins where you start to come back up. Think of that as coming up, everything above that low point of chaos. When you start to integrate, it means you've taken responsibility, means that you are moving from 200 up into that 250 vibration. 310 to 400 is willingness, acceptance, and reason. Authenticity deepens. You begin to live more congruently with your values, acknowledge your flaws without shame, and act from self-awareness rather than ego. I was not able to operate in that vibrational spectrum whilst I was on antidepressants. Even though it took me 6 years to learn to regulate my nervous system and for my neuroreceptors and all of that to come back to life, my body to begin to produce dopamine and serotonin normally, naturally. If I had known what I know today, if I could guide my former self through that dark depression, I could have, in less than a year, probably 6 to 12 months, achieved what I have now today. But it took me 6 years. And you've heard me say this, guys, so many times. Our purpose in life, and I really believe this, and this hopefully deeply resonates with you. Our purpose in life is to become the person we needed most in our darkest day. That's all I'm doing with Wake Up Call. This is a manifestation of me building what I needed most alongside my family, which is you guys. So 500 plus is love, joy, and peace. At this level, authenticity becomes radical. You're not just being true to yourself. You are yourself fully, without filters, without defenses, or needing validation. So in short, authenticity begins around the level 200, courage, strengthens through acceptance, 350, becomes effortless around love, 500. So I hope you found that helpful. The whole point of optimizing your circadian rhythm, of learning interoception, learning breathwork, is so that we can be in a higher vibrational state more of the time. Because over time, there's a compound effect. And this is how you're able to have, instead of just 24 hours of energy or life in one rotation of the earth, but if you could have 30 hours of life and energy, 36 hours. I genuinely feel like I get more done in my morning work session now, before my mid-afternoon run, than I ever would get done in a full day. And I genuinely get more done in the second half of my day, after my mid-afternoon run, than I ever used to get done in a day, and probably on average more than I ever got done in a week. This is what can happen. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying that to inspire you to think about your life through the lens of energy versus time. Okay, any questions on that? Feel free to unmute and just shout away or tap into the chat. Yeah, just come out, unmute yourself. If there are any questions, comments, observations about that or the NSDR before I move into the next segment.
Yeah, I have just kind of like a comment on what you just said there. And it's basically, with all the modalities and tools that we use, is about, the first step is awareness, right? To always be aware of what it is you're feeling. And then you use the tools to be able to maintain your energy. So the more you are aware, the more you maintain, the less you kind of have those hard hits or like the deep falls, and you kind of stay more level and able to overall kind of live a better life and have higher vibes in life. So that was kind of my perception, I think, of what you just shared. So thank you.
Yeah. Yes, we're bombarded with emotions. Emotions are feelings that are triggered by events in the exteroception, in the exterior world. Something will happen, triggers an emotion, and then that emotion can then take over our day. Like, I'm being bombarded with nuclear bombs of toxic energy right now. Like, the fact that I'm actually able to even be here today is new for me. I would normally be running and hiding and numbing with what I'm dealing with. Like, I very likely have to find a new place to live, like this week. So what you're saying, Monica, is so true. When you're triggered, do we let those emotions just run away with us and take over our day and week and ruin it? Or do we arrest it, acknowledge, and then take control of our emotions, or take control of our emotional state by altering it, by changing it? Because we're not our emotions. They're ours, yes, because we're feeling them. But that's
And
not
you know
who we
what?
are.
I'm going to bring that right back to that piece that you shared about owning responsibility and taking control, and where that plays a role in the frequency levels. Because I was like you just said, when you take action, you're like, I'm going to control this. You know, I'm not going to let that trigger control my life. I'm going to control it. That also just adds to the vibration and the frequency of the momentum that you're now building. Instead of going backwards to low vibes, you're going forward into better vibes. So yeah, very cool. Very cool.
Can I just add to that? I also use humor, and when a negative thing comes in or something that wobbles me, I call it a sniper, and I'm like, hey, I've got a sniper in here, okay, and that just makes me laugh, and then I do something about it. But just the thought of like a little sniper inside, you know, trying to trip me up. So yeah, that's how I do it.
So I love that, because I'm about humor too. You know, always be your own best friend. And I love to say my favorite tool is say the opposite. You know, so if you're having a bad day, you know, you didn't do what you wanted to do, and you're like beating yourself up about it, like, oh, I'm an idiot, you know, I'm a total fool, blah, blah, blah. You just switch it around. I'm a genius. I'm awesome. And I do it just to humor myself, because it makes me laugh after. So with the sniper thing, I'm like, I get that. I think that's amazing. And it's such a good tool because it's funny. And then you don't take it so serious. And keeping your energy light is really important to being on a healthy, happy path.
So
Let
true.
me just jump in here. Like knowing Jay as I did, at least through SFM, no one would have guessed that you were undergoing what you were undergoing, and you were on your high vibration based on certain external alcohol or whichever. Nobody would know it, because you had it well camouflaged, you had it well put together. So the fact that you're saying how you're able to have the same level of energy with these modalities, these tools, it's another level. Thanks for sharing that. It means a lot.
Maybe you didn't notice, but trust me, the people around me knew it, and they paid the price. It was brutal. I was brutal to be around. Erratic, aggressive, egotistical, narcissistic, impatient, brutal.
Yeah, I think we were like the onion, as we say. We were on the exterior. We were the outer layers. So the outer layers didn't know, but the ones who were in your inner circle.
Bina, there was one point at a retreat in Bali where I yelled from stage in a drunken, sort of aggressive way, told Stuart to go F himself. And he walked out in front of 30 clients at a mastermind retreat.
Wow.
That's how bad it got at the worst. Like, that's damage you can't undo. That's like an egg you can't unscramble eggs. But I would go as far, and thank you for acknowledging that, Bina, but I would go as far as saying that instead of only having 1 or 2 hours of that peak creative state. So the timeline is kind of like this. 2018, we decided to move back to Toronto because my brother was completely self-destructing, the same brother that's causing the drama now. And he was in jail. Alex Eastman, Stuart's cousin, I had him come to my house in New Jersey. I was going through an identity crisis because of my brain was shutting down. I was not able to meet my obligations, and Stuart was extremely frustrated with me. But I was not pulling my weight with the business. And I was defensive, and I was hiding my drinking. Alex came to my house, and he sat down, and I had him take me through the Incubate Lifeline discovery process. And we realized that there was this massive karmic loop, this 13-year cycle that was coming full circle, and that I needed to go home to visit my mom's grave and to see my brother in jail. So I asked Steph, I said, can we go up to Toronto this weekend? She said, go. We hopped on a plane, flew to Toronto. I got in my brother's car. I left Alex with my brother in a hotel, and I drove to my mom's grave, and I slept out by her grave, bawling my eyes out because I was terrified. I was losing grip. Nobody knew how close I was to losing grip. So my alternatives were suicide, an accident to make it look like something just had happened, or somehow get my brain and nervous system to work again. Because to go from 200 milligrams of an SSRI to zero, 60 milligrams of Adderall to zero, 70 milligrams of Vyvanse to zero. By the way, that's more than double the legal dose. And at the peak, I was probably drinking between a half and 2/3 of a bottle of pure alcohol, like vodka or tequila. I could drink 2 bottles of wine with that amount of stimulant, that amount of Adderall. I could literally drink anyone under the table and not be drunk and get up the next morning without a hangover. Why? Because I just took the pill. So I went off everything cold turkey, and I started doing NAD therapy, flushing that out of my system. So I flushed it all out, but now here I am, just a shell of my former self. My body doesn't know when or how to produce dopamine, doesn't know when or how to produce serotonin, doesn't know when or how to produce norepinephrine, which is adrenaline, doesn't know when or how to produce oxytocin. I was dead in an anhedonic state. So anhedonia is the clinical word for depression, where you have no feelings, no good, no bad. Just how do I function? How do I work? How do I pretend everything's fine without going back on the pharmaceuticals, which I refuse to do? Found that by microdosing cannabis, 10 milligrams of THC, combined with 10 milligrams of CBD, combined with 100 grams of psilocybin golden teacher, and microdosing alcohol, that stack, I did it correctly, I could get about 90 minutes of mental clarity per day. And when that happened, I felt so good. What happens when you start to drink? It feels so good, you just take more. And then there would be the law of diminishing returns, and all of a sudden I'm acting erratic, and I'm drunk again, and I'm chaotic, and that was incredibly disrupting to Steph's nervous system as she was rebuilding her nervous system. Ultimately, this is why she left me, because her nervous system became so dysregulated around my chaotic behavior. So now to have this almost unlimited well of creative energy, because my vibrational state is by default is up there, is incredible, but it's not there by accident. This 10 for 10, I'm doing that because don't think for a second it's not as a result of the work I'm doing. I did my 3K run today, which is on my 10 for 10. So let's segue here now. We'll talk a little bit about why the 10 for 10. So everything that is on my 10 for 10 is there to support one of the 6 areas of health: mental health, spiritual health, emotional health, physical health, sexual health, and financial health. So financial health is a lagging indicator. Your financial health will be there if you get your health in the other 5 areas of life sorted out. So to me, running 3 kilometers per day is to rebuild trust in myself that when I say I'm going to do something, I'll follow through without exception. 100 push-ups and 100 squats. That's one of the 10. It could be 2, but it's one of the 10. Why? Because it's hard to do. And it's for the mental exercise of pushing through. Every time you don't feel like doing something and you force yourself to do it, you're rewiring. So it's a rewiring. So now it's habit. It takes 0 effort. Day 30, day 31 today actually, takes 0 effort. Last night at 11 o'clock, I finally wrapped up my day. I felt like shit, but there was no question in my mind that I was going to do my 100 push-ups, 100 squats, take my hot shower, my cold shower, and finish off with some reading and writing to close out my day, because that is what I've done every single day for the last 30 days, and now it's automatic. So also the random act of kindness. It takes 30 seconds to do a random act of kindness, but it can literally and fundamentally shift your day. So here I had this most magical experience just before we got on today's call. I showed up to the eye doctor for my exam because my eyes have been going twitchy and blurry from the diabetes. And I've been really, really stressed about that. So I finally got my appointment today. But I had it in my calendar wrong. I had it in for 11:45 instead of 11:15. So I showed up to the appointment and they were like, "You're late. You were supposed to be here half an hour ago. We close in 15 minutes." And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Can you book me back in? It's a 6-month waiting period." So she booked me in for the 28th. And I just said to her, "Thank you so much. And by the way, how's your day?" She's like, "Oh, can't wait for it to be over. It's just another day." I just had this moment with that receptionist. Felt her presence and shared my heart, shared my gratitude. Now, in that moment, a light bulb went off in my head. And I was like, I've got 15 minutes to spare in my crazy day. The little medical plaza building where the eye doctor is the same building as where I get my blood work done. And I have a requisition for blood work in my inbox from my doctor. I'm going to pop across the hallway and see if Life Labs, which also closes in any minute now, that they can quickly squeeze in my blood work. And I'll have that off of, I'm a week late getting that done. And that, the thought to do that popped into my head whilst I was having this connection moment with the receptionist at the optometrist. So there's an example of how a random act of kindness can yield an immediate like blessing. So I went across the hallway and they were like, absolutely, we can get you right in. There was no line, there was no wait. Within 5 minutes, within 10 minutes, I was in and out, and I got that off of my to-do list. And I felt so good about it. And it put me in this state of gratitude to be on this call. So the 10 for 10, what is the 10 for 10? 10 things you will ask your higher self. So here's how I picked my 10 things. Go to the alignment code, read the alignment code, map out an ideal day. I met a story. I did mine for the 30th of June. It included selling my house, included being the best physical shape of my life. It included being in a constant state of gratitude. It included having my storage unit sorted out and all of my possessions either sorted or sold, or stored, sorted, or sold. It included having the first draft of my book, the fourth draft of the 99% book done. It included rewriting the alignment code from CT 101. Well, most of those things, and it's middle of April, most of those things have already been achieved without any effort, because the actions to do it, the foundation to be able to have the energy and the inspiration to actually take the actions comes from the work that I'm doing, the 10 for 10. So what I'd recommend you do is read the alignment code, pick a 90-day, write a 90-day meta story following the instructions or prayer, and prayerfully ask, what sort of foundation will my future self in 90 days thank me for doing? So what are the things on a daily basis that I can do in my life that the person who I'm becoming in 90 days will thank me for? And let that inspire, intuitively let that inspire your 10 things. And then what we're going to do, and I would highly recommend that the video journey is one of those 10 things, because that way you build in the sharing of your transformation as you're going through it. So it closes that creation loop. Learn, do, share. Learn, do, teach. So it's in my 10 for 10. The last one is share to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok every day. Well, I now have TikToks going viral. I have a TikTok from the weekend that has 55,000 views. In my meta story was, I'm a professional content creator. I'm fully embodied in my masculine. I'm in the best shape of my life. I live a life of gratitude. My house is sold to the ideal buyer for more than I expected. All my stuff is sorted. And I wrote that meta story out 3 times a day for maybe a week, and I haven't even touched it or looked at it since. The alignment code is infinitely more powerful than the cybernetic transposition, because cybernetic transposition is about trying to force your way on the universe through repetition versus prayerfully asking for guidance on how to ultimately solve the problem, and then and then releasing the trapped emotions that are preventing you from achieving that by working with Krista. That's what I've done through the 6 sessions of the emotion code. Any questions on that? Oh, one thing. So Monica is basically, like I mentioned, Keo, so Keo left me a message. He said, listen, I have to step back. Bless his heart. His father is not well. And on top of that, he has the time zone. And on top of that, he's working. And I said, no, you don't need to leave the group. We'll stay in the unit, but we'll pick up the slack for you. Please don't leave. So Monica is going to be stepping up and leading the 90-day video journey Facebook group. I think what we'll do is Martin, if it's okay with you, we'll add that to the welcoming committee kind of bucket. And I think what we'll do is we're going to rebrand the video journey Facebook group to be the 10 for 10 group. So the video journey is just one of the, it should be, that should be like one of the prerequisites, the non-negotiables for the 10 for 10 is that you're sharing your daily journey. So it fits nicely in, it all fits nicely together in that context. So then that group is basically being expanded to include more than just a video journey. It's like, what else are you doing? And then I think the protocol should be is on when you share your daily video, just add the image like I've been doing the last few days of your 10 for 10. Add that in. Any questions on that? Comments, Monica, Martin, I'll get with you guys on that. And okay, that actually brings me to the end of all of the housekeeping and all of the updates that I had. Unless there's anyone with any questions or comments, Monica, I will come to you. Hey, Richard, how are you, brother? Good to have you here. Welcome.
Hey, bro. How's it going? Sorry I could only join late, but I'm here listening to what's going on.
Best day of my life. Richard, Martin, I'll be in touch with you. Really excited to announce the new masculine unit. I mentioned this on social media. Those who identify with the masculine, with a masculine embodiment, this is not necessarily a gender thing, but who identify with being predominantly in their masculine in a relationship. Richard, myself, and Martin are going to be kicking off a group there. So anybody hearing this, you want to be part of that sacred masculinity group, where we will go down all of those rabbit holes, the David Dida, the John Weinman, explore that topic. Hit me up. Oh, there's Milo. Milos, how are you, brother?
Doing well. Throw me in that man group. Sounds cool.
Yeah.
I was like,
man group.
honestly, am I getting
Throw me in the
FOMO?
man
I was
group.
like, I'm missing out.
Throw me to the man.
man group. Hey,
Everybody, I
Marlon,
did want to let you know, I've been talking to Scott, and while he had to jump off because he's presenting tonight in London, he did want me to thank everybody in the family that have donated to the air ambulance charity that Jake mentioned in the beginning. So I told him I would let everybody know.
And again, on that note, Wake Up is matching the first 500 pounds towards his new wheelchair. Okay, so please contribute, and Wake Up will match. So he needs 1,000 pounds to get into a proper wheelchair to do his commitment for May. So let's, as a family, rise up together and make that happen. And Milo, I will add you to the group. And Martin, we haven't had our follow-up conversation, but
the man's group.
Yeah, so instantly I'm like, we also need a feminine group as well. So I'll be talking to the ladies in the unit about that. So just so we're clear here, we'll have a nice balance going on. Because I was already like, well, I can pull up my masculine side. I want in on the group because it sounds like a good time.
no,
Sounds really exciting.
absolutely. Richie and I had this conversation. Like, we all have a feminine side. An embodied masculine also has an embodied feminine.
Right. Yeah.
It's what we talked about, right? We talked about both being in. You know, we both have present, and if we don't have both, if all of us don't have both present, then we're not living to our fullest experience.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a lot of both. I have a lot of masculine and feminine. I'm the first to admit in mine, I would say.
But like I said, the prerequisite for this group is, again, to define it, is for those who identify in relationship as predominantly the masculine.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Cool. I like that. It's exciting. I'm glad there's something new kicking off. It sounds very fresh, very good too. Healing in a way, I think. So now we're walking into our welcoming segment, and it's always an honor to get to do this piece because it's really beautiful to have so many new members kind of growing in and expanding the energy in the Wake Up family, bringing that fresh energy, bringing high intelligence. Everybody who comes in just wants better and better for their lives. And it's such an honor. It's such an honor. So I get so excited getting to welcome in the new members. So, you know, as we give you a shout out in the group, big welcome again here on the call to all of our new members that came in this week. So thank you so much. Starting off with Nichelle, thank you for joining. Nicole, thank you for joining. Momo, thank you for joining. Stefan, I hope I said that right. Thank you for joining. And Sarah, thank you so much for joining. Also, on a quick note of talking about who's doing what and what else is new is the 90-day. Bina, you just joined in on the 90-day. I'm really excited about that. We have almost all of the unit members in the 90-day journey right now. So I really love this 10 for 10 rebrand for the 90-day and being able to incorporate. Because once I was just having a conversation with Scott prior to this call here, and he was like, you know, I haven't seen you that much in the group. And I was like, you know what? A lot of the energy is in the 90-day. And you just get to connect so much further and on a deeper level with everyone when you're sharing your personal story, when you're putting it on a video and every day showing up. And it's a beautiful area for us to grow and connect. So I'm really happy that we're going to shaping the 10 for 10 and with the 90-day. So shout out to Bina for coming in this week. And we got, like I said, most of the unit is in there. Oh, and Jules also started this week. So I'm really happy. You guys are really powerful people coming in there, sharing your stories, sharing your insights. So happy to have you in there and for us to continue growing and rebranding and making it bigger and better every day. So thanks again, everyone. Jay, we got any final thoughts or final notes happening on this call here today? Anything else to wrap up with?
Beautiful. Okay. Thank you so much, Monica, for sharing that. So what we will do now to wrap up the call is anyone that has something that they would like to share, something that is a takeaway, maybe something else that you're grateful for, something that's going on in your life. We'll just do some sharing here and we will wrap up the week 16 of Wake Up Wednesday.
I've got some gratitude to share. I've got immense gratitude to be part of this group, part of the group that Jay just talked about as well, part of the men's group. So that's my gratitude, being here, being able to be amongst that. The energy that raises you up is just amazing me up. Sorry, it's just amazing. I love it. I love seeing the people's videos. I love in the journey and my share. So yes, my journey is creating more things in my life. I'm creating more time in my life that I didn't know I had through being raised to a higher vibrational level. The thing I want to share is tonight I will be starting my emotion code qualification journey.
Fantastic. That is so exciting. Nice. Yeah. Guys, real quick.
I want to look at this over the next couple of weeks as well. Yeah, I want to suss this out properly.
Yeah, I'll be looking at it. So I'll be looking for victims. I mean, people to practice on.
Beautiful. Absolutely. I want some sessions with you. Richie's born to do this. He's born to do this. He was sharing a very personal experience that he had with Christoph. Wow, It was mind blowing. Real quick before I forget, I almost forgot. Everybody, please grab your phone or take a screenshot. Press the 2 side buttons. Take a shot, and I would ask you to take a picture of the screen. And so everyone smile. Take a picture of the screen. And post this to Instagram stories and tag me. Last week, I was surprised that I asked everyone and only 2 people did it. Just saying. Martin, did you want to say something, or with Carlene?
No, I'm all good. The only thing I was going to ask is, Richie, how much is it to do it over here in the UK for the emotion code?
So Christoph has got an affiliate link. And you can go through his affiliate link. Not that changes the price, but the price is the same in the UK as whatever. You go onto his link and it's $995, which equates to £751, which actually I made a video about and how it came about for me.
I saw that the other day. Yeah, you're talking about it. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
So that's exactly what it.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I highly recommend, because there's the placebo effect element to it. So there's 2 things that determine the effectiveness of the emotion code. Your belief in it, which is in part the placebo effect, but also the ability to connect deeper at the unconscious. So the deeper your unconscious connection to the practitioner, the deeper the transmission. The book explains how this works. I was talking with Milo about it. And I'm re-listening to the ebook. So I would highly recommend you listen to the ebook, because
listen to it. Yeah.
Again, if you can get 300% versus 100% for that 1 hour, it's worth it, right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't get a proper connection with them, and you don't see a result or feel anything, then it's like, are you going to waste another session? So I would highly recommend that you listen to the emotion code and watch the video of my session with him, or not. Like Monica chose not to. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Richie. You're going to be a great practitioner, buddy.
I'm with all my heart and soul. But Martin, drop me a DM or whatever if you want to talk about it, or
I'll
talk about my experience.
I've had the book for about 5 or 6 years, but I haven't done anything with it. Of course, with so many books I've got, but I've got a lot of driving up over the next few days. So I thought I could listen to the audio book, and then I want to follow up with Christoph, because from what Jay said before, I've listened to, it sounds right up my street. And then if I can connect with it, it's
a really easy listen. It does. I'll just warn you guys, it does trigger skepticism. It sounds a little grandiose. It comes across it triggers a lot of skepticism in me.
Okay.
It doesn't mean it doesn't work, but I'm just fair warning, okay? Because but he's in all fairness, he does say that this as a standalone isolated modality will not change your life. It has to be part of a holistic approach. So for me, I do therapy every week, like traditional talk therapy. I do emotion code, do meditation, do breath work, I do physical exercise. See what I'm saying? It needs to be part of a holistic approach to life. There's no silver bullets anywhere in life. Please, I just want to be on the record saying that.
Yeah,
it's a tool. Cool. It's one of many tools.
Yeah, I think from my point of view, going into even a session with Christoph and my own practices, and that to go into the emotion code, you drop into it, but your drop into it is your preparation, where you are on a daily basis. The other work that you've done, are you connected energetically to other stuff? Because obviously you're connecting to the practitioner as well. So if you've got that kind of do you understand? I'm not saying you don't, Martin, by the way. I'm just saying from my point of view, have I got an energetic connection? Do I understand what it is? And like Jay said, it's probably not sitting, it isn't sitting. There's some effect from sitting and going through the process, but the deepest effects, like I heard the conversation before about, David Hawkins and the vibrations. The higher the vibrations you are when you go in with those thoughts and compassion and gratitude and those kind of things, then you're entering into the energetic zone, that high level vibration zone.
Yeah. You go in with a cynical closed heart, you're getting 0, guaranteed.
Yeah.
But he does a good job of explaining the quantum element of it, which is really, really cool. Really cool. Like it's not science fiction that when observed, a molecule changes. In the quantum field, under observation, a molecule changes. And that can happen telepathically through a Zoom. It can happen in person. Interestingly, I reached out to Christoph this morning when I was really distraught. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get through the day, how I'm going to do Wake Up Wednesday. He wasn't able to do a session. And I'm kind of glad that he wasn't able to do it, because I was reaching for it as a pill. So I'm glad he wasn't available. In retrospect, that thought just came up to my mind, because I don't think it would have been appropriate to expect an immediate result. But I was quite distraught, a little bit panicked. I'm like, how the fuck am I going to move through this? Then it just hit me. Go for your run now. Don't wait for the run. Don't do your run after the wake up call. Go do your run now, which means that you're going to have to scrap all your expectations for the day, because you don't have any time to prepare for the call. So I went for the run, and I'm glad I did, because on the run, I recorded all the content that I'm going to piece together now. When I publish the recording of this, it'll be beautiful. So I just wanted to share that little experience.
I just have one little more thing to add about the emotion code. Is that it as well? It's about opening the channel, and there is some skepticism around it from the book, but it's about opening the channel. And I did some work on my mum, who is, older than me. I'm not going to reveal her age on here, because obviously she's, I'm not going to do that, but she's quite a bit older than me. And she was just open to it. She's not a person that does this kind of work, but she was open to the process of me being with her, and she was open to the process of letting go something that she could find within her. And we did a couple of things, and she was in floods of tears about understanding some of the things in her life, and she completely let go. So there's an approach, an openness, a mindset that will get you into the modality of receiving.
Love it. I mean, my dad and I have talked so much over recent times about his upbringing and his life, which is really dysfunctional, and he's not actually acknowledged any of it until really the last decade, and he's 78 now. He suppressed it and suppressed it and suppressed it. So it is something that I could actually help him actually find peace with. Certain bits, if he was open to it, like you've just said, wow, that could be, that could be, beautiful. Okay,
it's
beautiful.
Powerful shit. It's powerful shit. Drop me a message, Martin.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. Appreciate it.
And I would say, so my approach is, do it for yourself, but do it for the people in your life.
Yeah.
Do it for the people in your life. Do it for your dad. Do it for Aaron. You know what I mean? Are you dealing with your stuff? You're better.
Is that thing of not being like not feeling that the selfishness and focused on this is what I do. It's got a ripple effect on helping the people around me. You know, I go into this, the people around me, it's the ripple effect. So yeah, definitely.
I love it. I love it. Good on you guys. Thank you.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
just want to say
Carleen.
as well that I think I was saying to Jules earlier, actually, I think one of the reasons that I was so receptive to it just not literally one session, is because of the spiritual science awakening that I've like gone through recently, and my understanding of quantum entanglement, manifestation, everything. As soon as Christoph pulled out the magnet, I knew exactly. He didn't even tell me any of the quantum way in which it works. I just clicked into place as to this is going to work because of the quantum entanglement. And the other thing, for those of you who have not had it yet, right at the beginning, he says, before we start, I'm going to just say a quick prayer. So when he said his prayer internally, I said a prayer as well. I also, at that point, and you're talking about being open to it and everything, I intended and requested to receive the healing, to receive I had no idea what to expect. I hadn't watched Jay's videos on it, but I just was also praying for that openness and that receiving. And I think the other big reason is because of personal stuff that has been going on in my life. And I really, for the last few weeks, have thought that my life as I know it was coming to an end. And it just, I knew that there was a reason why I was still attached and holding on to some hope, even though the truth is I felt hopeless. And I'll be honest with you guys, it was in my relationship. But I'm also of that awakened place now that I know that what's happening in our relationships is to a point mirroring back our energies. So when Christoph picked up on these particular energies, the first one I know went back to my childhood, which I did the video about this morning, and I've been holding on to that my whole life, this painful memory of years and my perception of it, and that's been able to shift. And because what came through, again, I'll share it with you guys, it surprised me, but it didn't surprise me. It was one of the ones that came through was bitterness, and it surprised me because I didn't think I was being bitter, but it didn't surprise me because that's what is being mirrored to me. And it was in that moment that I realized the universe is trying to help me, even though it's fucking crap and I'm having these really not good time of it. The universe is showing me what's in my energy, and Christoph has just picked it up and got rid of it in a minute. And actually, Jay, even more, hearing more about your antidepressants and your depression and how that feels for you gives me more of an understanding into how this numbness that I've been experiencing on the receiving end. So as I opened up with, really, I'm grateful, so grateful for being here. It's just moment by moment, there's just more things coming to my awareness that's helping me wake the fuck up. So thank you.
Everybody, let's give Carleen a big hug right now. Receive. Everyone send their love to Carleen. Let me tell you guys, when you start to do the work and you raise your vibration, they can mess shit up.
Yeah.
In yoga, they call it the Kundalini awakening.
Kundalini rising,
they can mess things up. It can mess things up, relationship in a good way, disrupt. Because when you start operating at a different plane, you can't settle for the old status quo any longer. Share something really vulnerably with you guys, inspired by Carlene's share. So Sunday, in the middle of my run, I had such heartbreak, this feeling of heartbreak, and it's also this intense feeling of jealousy ever since last week's Wake Up Wednesday. So as you know, we had my ex on here doing the breath work, and I had these such intense feelings of heartbreak and grief and jealousy. I called Christoph. I said, is there, between legs of my marathon run, I said, is there any way you can do a session with me, mate? I've got to move some energy. I've got to release some of these trapped emotions that are coming up. I felt like I almost had to throw up. So we got on a session. First one that came up was heartache. He nailed it. It came up like that. We did the session in 10 minutes. I said at 15 minutes. There were only 4 that came up. Heartache. Second came up was jealousy. Release that. Third was vulnerability. Fourth was guilt. Release that. I didn't have an immediate feeling of relief, but ironically, I ended up having a conversation out there on the track with Alvin, this older man that I was supporting the run. He looked at me and he said, you need to call, completely unprovoked, you need to call her and thank her, what he said. The general theme of our conversation on these 7 runs that we did 7 4-mile runs over a 24-hour period. The general theme was trust the process. And he kept saying, because he's a doctor and he's also a high performance coach, he's an incredible human being. He said, when something hurts you, it is trying to teach you something. Embrace that hurt. And the more it hurts, the bigger the lesson, the bigger the impact of that lesson. You make sure you call your ex today and thank her for that pain. Because you have an opportunity to learn something when you embrace it, when you own it, when you take full responsibility for it, you can integrate it. Versus being the victim who's now like, I'm hurt, I'm wounded, I'm hurt. Own it. It's teaching you something. Thank her for accelerating your timeline. And I did. Sent her a voice note and expressed that, got it out, did the session with Christoph, woke up the next day, and it was like, gone. It's gone. And then I met somebody on Hinge. Just kidding. It's actually true. Love you guys so much. Anybody else have anything they want to share? So Milo said you can also use a taco shell. You don't have to use the magnet. You can use a taco shell.
Is that a joke or are we being serious?
No, it's serious. You can. There's lots of practitioners that don't use anything. Use a hand. You can use a taco shell. You can use a turtle. Anything.
Yeah, because it's the energy, right?
You can use an apple mouse if you want.
Nice. Love it.
Like a real turtle, like a real big one.
Yeah, like
Tortoise.
a living turtle.
I just want to know because I'm going to Cayman in a couple of weeks, and there's a lot of turtles there, so I might just get a big old
Richard,
turtle
just give it a try, man. Let us know how it goes.
I'm going to do that. Thank you, Milo.
You see Richard walking around Cayman with a turtle shell on his head. We'll all know. Let's close with this, guys. Thank you so much for being with us again here, the highlight of the week. I'll leave you with this. In the words of JJ, do something today. Do something today for someone in the knowing that there's no possible way that they can repay you. Love you all. See you guys, same place, same time next week. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you.